Hi and welcome back. I've been meaning to update this retro gaming channel for quite a while, and I'm only just getting round to doing it now. One of the things I wanted to show was an update on the cabinet, because obviously the last time it was quite empty. There wasn't a lot of the consoles there, so I managed to finish the collection just recently. It was only a few months ago that I managed to get the last one. So I just wanted to show you what it looks like now that all the consoles are in place, and then just take you through each console to show you what each one is. So we have the Wii U, which is now in place of what used to be the Wii. We have the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Sega Dreamcast, the PlayStation 1, Sega Mega Drive 1, Xbox 360, Nintendo Entertainment System, the Sega Master System 2, the big classic 6-switch Atari, the PS2, the Super Nintendo, N64, Xbox Original, the PlayStation 3, and finally the GameCube with the Game Boy Advance player, which I still have not managed to get a disc for to make it work because they're so hard to get hold of. I just can't seem to find one anywhere. One of the things I do need to do is clean this up because this is looking quite messy. I want all these wires hidden. I do plan on hiding all these wires, but I'm not able to at the minute because I need to get a HDMI splitter. Just because at the minute I'm constantly having to switch between the PS3, the PS4 and the Wii U on the TV. So, I mean, that's quite annoying. I don't want to keep doing that. I want it to all be running through the HDMI splitter and then I can hide all the wires properly. And I'll also show you around the back, which is quite messy as you can see. Yeah, there's just wires everywhere. It looks like a state, but it's not unsafe or anything. I have actually had an electrician look at this and he's told me everything's fine, so that's good. So now that the cabinet is filled with the consoles, now I'm going to be collecting the games for the consoles. I already have a few. Still got quite a lot to collect for the ones that I want, but I will be posting a video soon of just sort of going through which games I've managed to get, sort of not every single game, but maybe some of the rarer ones that I've managed to get hold of. But I also wanted to let everyone know about this new channel that I've opened with my friend, where we're going to be reviewing retro movies. We're also going to be reviewing modern movies as well, but at the minute we've only done retro movie reviews, so we have Back to the Future 1 and 2. We've also got the 1989 Batman, Batman Returns, A Fish Called Wanda, Tango and Cash, and a few more on top of that. We're going to be releasing 3 new reviews every week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of our reviews on the end of this video. So just to see if you like it. So yeah, I mean, if you do like it, that's great. Come over, subscribe. If not, don't worry about it. I will be, like I said, I will be posting a new video on here soon. Just going through my collection of games that I've managed to get so far. So until then, here's the video from our new channel, TMG Movie Reviews.
Hi and welcome to TMG Movie Reviews. I'm Andrew.
I'm Rick.
And today it's going to be Back to the Future from 1985, directed by Robert Zemeckis, executive produced by Steven Spielberg, and starring one of the greatest actors in the world, Mr. Michael J. Fox. So, oh boy, I'm going to have to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, if you thought we were biased about Batman, you ain't seen nothing yet, because Back to the Future, my goodness, we assume you know the story. A young man, his best friend, an eccentric scientist, creates a time-travelling machine. The young man then takes the time-travelling machine, which is a DeLorean car, back to 1955 to make sure his parents get back together, that time doesn't change, and alters his life for the better. This is a film that obviously a lot of people grew up loving. Michael J. Fox, I'll give you some background information, was not originally cast. It was actually Eric Stoltz from Pulp Fiction, from The Fly, from a few films like that. And he was there for a few weeks before Robert Zemeckis realised he wasn't the man for the job. So Michael at the time was shooting a television series called Family Ties, and what he would do, he was so desperate for the role, he knew how good the role was, that he would work all morning and into the night shooting his TV series, rehearse, tape. Then about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, he'd go and get in his car, he'd drive across town to the Back to the Future set and shoot all night. So he'd sleep maybe, 2, 3 hours a night, back to work. I don't think you can even see that in his performance. You can't tell this is a man working a 20-hour day. He's utterly flawless.
No, it's a really energetic performance to say that he's running on fumes.
Yeah, he probably has fumes and whatever else they were using in the 80s to keep going, but oh my goodness. Well, Rick, you tell me, because I know you love the film, so you start. What do you love about
it? Well, it's probably my favourite film, and that's not because it's the most sort of in-depth story and things like that. I just really love the sort of story that it tells, and I love the time travel aspects when I was a kid, and I still enjoy them now. I loved that it's this relationship between Doc and Marty. I mean, when you're watching a film, you never even question it. When you sort of finish watching it, you come away and you think, why would this teenager be friends with this crazy scientist, and vice versa? Why?
Absolutely. Wonder about
They've got such a good sort of chemistry on screen that it doesn't even come into question during the movie. You just think, yeah, they're friends.
Yeah, it's not. You might maybe look at it now and think that's a bit creepy, an old man and a young boy, but it's like a father-son relationship. It's a really lovely definement. Clearly, each of them gets something from the other. You know, with Doc, it's a sense, I think, of companionship. And for Marty, he's just, I don't know what it is. I think Marty just generally appreciates what the Doc can do, enjoys his company, and it's a lovely relationship. It's a lovely, strong relationship that carries beautifully through all three films, I think, definitely.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of the key things that sort of makes all three films.
Yeah.
But the first film, like you said, Eric Stoltz was originally meant to play the character of Marty McFly.
Yes.
He actually acted with Leah Thompson, which is why she got cast in the role of Lorraine. So that's where they got her from. But he was playing the part too seriously to say it was meant to be a sort of action comedy, and they switched him up and they made the perfect choice in casting with Michael J. Fox. The themes in the story of cause and effect, and getting to go back and actually see what your parents were like when they were young. I mean, you always get told these things of what your parents were like, but to actually sort of go back, I mean, it's a really interesting premise to go back and actually see your parents as teenagers and see what they were like, not what they're telling you they were like, and then for him to intervene and actually
alter the course of history, really, for the better rather than for the worse.
Not at first. At first, obviously, he alters the course of history where it doesn't even exist, and then he has to spend the rest of the movie correcting that. And his mum actually becomes a bit infatuated with him for a while.
Got the Oedipus complex coming on.
Yeah, the Florence Nightingale effect because he got hit by the car. I just think it's such a good story, and it's such a good feel-good family movie. It doesn't matter how many times you watch it. Even the character of George McFly, when he turns around and hits Biff, it's brilliant.
It's brilliant. You cheer. It's one of those yes.
Yeah.
Ah, dear. But there's so many brilliant moments. I mean, for me, I love the first time we see the DeLorean and the music plays and the smoke clears and it's do-do-do-do and it just backs slow. And I'd never seen, because the age we weren't around when DeLoreans were all the rage. So I'd never seen a car like this, and it was the coolest car in the world. It had a door that lifted up. And and then Doc comes out, he's got some mad hair, it's like, money! And I remember, it was funny because I saw a picture of Christopher Lloyd. I didn't know him from anything else. I think it wasn't in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it was a film called, I can't remember, I'll be honest. It had Gregory Hines in it. I saw the video cover, and I thought, that's not Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd has big mad hair, and he's got that big white suit on, so it's an amazing performance from him. It completely changes his look, his personality to fit that part, obviously as any good actor should, but oh boy, it's just a defining performance. And the chase scene as well, I mean, I love the chase scene around the car park when a Doc's been shot and Marty...
Oh, when he makes the first skateboard.
And and then there's the chase where the Doc's been shot and Marty has to dive into the DeLorean, he's driving it and he's getting up to 90 and the Libyans are shooting at him and they're screaming abuse. It's incredible. There is an interesting fact. When Marty dives into the DeLorean and you see him, you saw by the DeLorean, that's actually Eric Stoltz. You don't see the head, but that is Eric Stoltz diving in.
Oh, so he managed to get into the movie, that's good.
One shot he's in where he dives into the DeLorean. I love that. I'm always on the, even I know what happens, I'm still always on the edge of my seat.
I love the little things. I love that when you see Marty first travel back to 1955, and you see him in the barn and they think they've got this comic book and they think he's this spaceman, and it looks sort of pretty identical, especially like you said with the door opening from the side. And then he gets out of the car and then he has to jump back in it because he starts getting shot at, and he drives through a pine tree. And then if you notice the first time in the film, it's called Twin Pines Mall, and I'm sure a lot of people know this, but just for the people who don't, it's called Twin Pines Mall. And then at the end of the movie, when you see him travel back, it's called Lone Pines Mall because Marty knocked one of those over in the past, which then affected the future. And I just think little things like that just really...
And there's that great scene in the diner where Marty says, give me a tab. I can't give you a tab unless you order something. Give me a Pepsi free. You have a Pepsi pal, you're going to pay for it. Yeah. Obviously we know a Pepsi free is a Pepsi with no sugar. A tab is is a soft drink, and these little details come in. And there's lines like, there's other stuff as well, stuff you'll know if you've seen a film, like, what the hell is a gigawatt? You know,
Yeah.
I love that. And, you know, stinging Johnny Be Good at the end.
You know, that was the director, Robert Zemeckis, was actually going to cut that scene.
He was going to cut the Johnny Be
He
Good
was going to
scene.
cut the Johnny Be Good
Good
scene just
Lord.
because he thought that it didn't progress the story. But I can't imagine it without it. I mean, that scene, I think it made every single kid who watched it want to learn how to play guitar.
I did. I used to jump around in my friend's house with his little toy guitar without the TV going, Johnny Be Good. Oh man, they were the days. They
Yeah,
truly
I
were.
mean, if this movie did anything for sort of like 80s children who watched it, or even 90s children who watched it made them want to learn how to skateboard and play guitar.
Absolutely. Playing my guitar and singing, that's all I wanted to do. So yeah, it's just a perfect film. It's a perfect, again, what we've talked about before is films that are of their time.
Yeah.
And Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, it's a perfect film for its time. And he's given some great performances since then. I mean, he was very good in The Frighteners. If you've not seen The Frighteners, Peter Jackson's film, he was good in Spin City.
The Secret of My Success.
Secret of My Success, I love that film. to
Doc
this day.
Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood. I've never seen old Doc Hollywood. I've always wanted to. But yeah, it's a terrible shame that, you know, Parkinson's has done what it has done. But the fact that he's still got this legacy of great films, particularly Back to the Future, is something I think he should be very proud of. And Christopher Lloyd as well, who hasn't gone on to as good of things as I think he should have done, but still has. I mean, he's only got this. He's got One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he's got Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So
And no matter what he does, no matter how many sort of bad films he appears in, he can always, he's Doc from Back to the
He's
Future.
Doc. No matter what you say to him, oh Chris, you were terrible, and oh, I was Doc. What were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you haven't seen it, again, like all the films we've reviewed, you know, you can find it. You know, I own a DVD, I know Rick's got on DVD, you can watch on TV. Yeah, so watch it with your kids. I mean, if your kids don't fall in love with it, then, you know, wow. But I know I certainly did when I saw it. I know Rick loves it as well, obviously. So please do seek it out. And there are sequels, we're going to talk about the sequels in the future, but if you're going to watch a Michael J. Fox film, watch a Robert Zemeckis film, forget Forrest Gump. Don't forget Romance of the Stone, forget Jewel of the Nile, but remember Roger Rabbit, but do not under any circumstances miss Back to the Future, because it's a classic.
No, I'd say it's my favourite film of all time, and that's why it's going to get my first 5, just because I can't mark anything bad down on it. I mean, when we start going into the trilogy, and we're going to do each movie individually to give it its own time, but for this one, it's perfect.
Yeah,
and I don't think the other two are, but for this movie, there's so much heart in it. The acting's amazing in it. The story's so good, and just the themes and I like everything about it. So I'm just going to ramble on them because I'm so biased about this movie.
Absolutely.
So it gets my first 5. What would you give it?
I'd give it a 5. Definitely, it's in my top 10. I love this film as much as I love Batman, and I don't think my childhood would have been the same without Marty, without Back to the Future, and I think it's a great film. Also, actually, just one more thing. A Million Ways to Die in the West. It's a dreadful film, but there is a great cameo from Doc, actually, which I think, if just don't watch the whole film, but do watch the cameo. It's on YouTube, and it's definitely worth checking out. So thank you very much, and hopefully you'll enjoy our next review just of Back to the Future Part 2. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you can think of anything bad about this film that we've not mentioned, because we've not mentioned anything bad about it, please put it in the comments below.
Yeah, absolutely.